The forge has gone quiet, the bellows blow no more. The forge has gone quiet, the smiths have gone home. Only fading embers remain, and my hearth grows cold. One kiss from you to rekindle it all.
All right, welcome back to Queen of Embers. I'm your game master, Daniel Fox. We are on episodes 7?
8, or 9, 10.
7?
12, 13.
What episode are we on, Mike?
9 and 10.
9 and 10.
Yeah, we got through 8.
We're on episodes 9 and 10 for tonight. We are joined by the gang, the cultists, the playtesters, the people you know and love around the table, people who helped write, playtest, Zweihander, Gauche, etc., etc. So, a couple of changes. First off, for those who can see us, you'll notice that Walter and Nick are still gone. Or not, Walter is gone tonight. He had some work-related stuff, and Nick is still out because he just had a baby. So that's... Right. He's going to be gone. Yeah. I think he'll probably be back next week. But
fingers crossed.
Yeah, kind of last minute, unfortunately. But we do have a new recurring player to our table, Kay. This is Kay.
Hey,
KP.
Hi.
Hi, Kay.
KP,
Hi,
you
Kay.
will recognize her from the book. She's in the credits. She's playtested Zweihander many, many, many moons ago.
Yes.
So she's been involved in the background with Adam and his group. We had an opportunity to bring her in. We like to play between 5 to 6 players. We kind of said, yeah, let's get a 6th player in, and Kay was the person we chose, and reached out, made a character the other night.
Yeah.
So she's going to be joining us regularly every Wednesday for our Queen of Embers game, so we're super happy to have her, and it'll be great. So,
And tell Ben we miss him.
Yeah,
that's right, tell Ben we miss him, because he won't be recorded.
No, not at all, actually.
Ben is Kay's husband, and he deferred to play the Queen of Embers because he doesn't like to be recorded, so...
Yeah.
Oh, whatever. So here we are. Nonetheless,
It's a first stretch for me, too.
it's something getting used to. Yeah.
We got this.
But the key is not to watch yourself afterward.
Oh, man. The videos are so hard to watch.
Oh,
I listen to
know.
myself.
Yeah,
I
listen.
know. I'm like, oh, I sound like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. But, I think you get accustomed. We got accustomed to it. This is probably our 38th video we've recorded.
Is it really that many? Yeah?
I don't know.
I don't know how many
I'm looking at YouTube because you guys managed.
Well, we had the
most of that,
20 for the Dun Hollow.
Yeah, so 28th. Yeah, 28th.
28
so.
for Dun Hollow, and then we had some extras for the one-shots.
We did, some one-shots in between. So, we were recording for a while, but, I think we, there's obviously it's different.
Yeah, definitely.
You're not bad by any means, but it certainly keeps us more focused, which is great. So speaking of focus, so last we left off was actually at the end of Chapter 1, which was kind of the prequel to Queen of Embers. As you know, for those who are listening, that it ended kind of at a climax. Kind of a big pitched fight on the Bastards River. But we should probably start what brought you to the river first. So, I think last time, Mike, you did the update. So, Tim, you want to do it?
No, I did the update.
Oh, you did. That's right. So, Mike, what happened last game session? Last 2 episodes.
All right. So, Harper went ahead and found out, he tracked down the carts of the kids, because that's where he left off. And so once he figured out, okay, they're at the river, and he knew time was of the essence because they're likely getting on the boat and getting the hell out of here because they're kidnapping these kids, literally. And so, he rushes back. He finds that both of those would-be priests have been slain, and he didn't quite understand why everyone was talking so much when there were people to go save, and so finally he roused everyone up and gathered a posse and went and ran down a boat. And so it took us a while there to get there, but we got there pretty much right when they were taking off. So Harper, being on his horse Matthew, was able to get onto the boat first, followed by the rest of the crew. Which then everyone was kind of like, we have no idea what's going on here. But
who was on the boat? Or who was manning the boat? So I don't remember.
there were 4 slaves, or 4 slavers,
Mm-hmm.
and then one weird, creepy guy. I can't quite remember his name.
Druce.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Anyone know who he was?
Persistent.
He was a Pictish.
He's Pictish, that's right.
Right.
What was the gang's name? Persistent Vipers?
Persistent Viper was the name of the ship.
Persistent Vipers. But that was the name of the gang, too, right?
No.
Oh, just the name of the ship.
That's right.
Okay.
Right. So we.
Because what's his name? The other priest, Father, whatever,
Father Jeremiah.
who we killed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well-
really.
Murdered, but,
We judged him guilty.
You know,
He got judged.
He clearly was not deemed fit for justice in front of Burgundy, as
Nope.
Terwin literally thrust his sword through his throat in the middle of the street. But,
Yeah. Yeah, just got Judge Forster.
so real quick, person who originated the Forrester line has since told me, when we've talked about it, he was like, you never want to ask a Forrester, what are you going to do about it?
Right. Literally never do that.
So you...
WWIED.
That's right.
What would Iron Eye do?
So you get on the ship, like the ship is leaving the jetty, and it's on the Bastards River, and what happens from there?
Chaos. A battle ensues. We almost get swept off board by them swinging the mast at us. But we were able to not get knocked off board, thankfully. And instead, it began this pitched back and forth battle where we had the advantage at the beginning, and then it turned towards the end, and then we kind of were able to eke it out to narrow it down to just 2 of them. One remaining the horse taker, slaver, who we nicknamed, the horse taker.
That's right. He's part of the Nemesis system now.
Yeah. That guy definitely
Horse
deserves a
taker.
level up.
Jeez. Because he yanked you off your horse at one
Yanked me
point.
off the horse.
On
He
the
stopped
ship.
like 4 of us from like.
What was the game where the orcs could become better?
Shadows of Mordor.
Yeah, Shadow
That's
of Mordor.
what it was.
He's level 2 horse taker.
Level 3
Yeah.
horse taker.
Love that game.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
So, but Droost then decided to abandon ship as we were careening towards crashing into this pier / house over the river.
We should back up and figure out what else was going on.
Oh, are you
Aboard the
talking about where?
I tried to light the ship on fire and burn
so,
kids
okay.
alive.
So rewind a little bit. Someone thought it'd be a good idea to start a fire on a boat.
And it wasn't a Forester.
And it
this
was
time.
not a Forester, surprisingly. And he
Fire
started
on a
the
boat
fire
is a good idea because it makes people.
right next to these crates that happen to have kids inside
Why
of
didn't
them.
the kids were in the crates?
That's right.
Yeah.
He found out.
Drugged children were in the crates, so he drugged them away to safety.
I
He
did.
did. So, and then
I made up for my mistake.
Droost was laying down the hurt and really almost killed one of our companions.
Yeah. As a matter of fact,
Use a fate point.
he had to use a fate point. That's right. So Alistair Krim got shot dead.
Yeah.
And then
He was
Terwin
dangerous.
Forster got his ear blown off.
Yeah.
And then your horse suffered a bone bruise.
Yeah,
Like, it was a
Born
bad...
Bruise,
It was bad all around. So the ship comes, essentially what happened after that is, gosh, why am I drawing a blank on names? Of course, Banneker Steeples runs to the rudder and attempts a pilot test and runs it directly onto the silt, onto the
Right.
shore, almost crashing into this waterside tavern on stilts over the Bastards River, narrowly escaping from taking the whole building down. From there, obviously, you're all thrown off the ship onto the shore.
Horse taker got away.
That's right.
Horse taker got away.
That's right. One slaver got away, and Drew swam away even before the ship crashed into the shore in the middle of the city.
Right.
How else do you get nemesis?
That's right. So at some point or another, a brigandine soldier
Company.
company. That's right.
Yeah. It was a whole
Came
company.
and had taken you from there to the brigandine way station outside of Basaya Square, where you underwent what you thought would be like an intense interrogation, but it became a matter-of-factly discussion.
It was more buddy-buddy.
Yeah, what happened during that time from Tim? during that discussion do you recall any of the...
Well, I mean, it was strange. He was pouring us drinks, offering us pipe, weed, and bread and water and salt. It was, I guess, very accustomed. But I think he was trying to validate that we were really who we said we were.
Right, because
Dufresne agents, and he did say this, Dufresne agents don't operate in the city.
That's right.
We operate in the city.
He did kind of reinforce the fact that brigandine was the law in a soft way.
In a soft way. But then he also pulled back a little bit and said, basically, you're the authority over me when it comes down to it because the king has given Dufresne the power.
That's right.
But the Baron has given them the power. Basically, I think he was trying to fill us out if he was going to have trouble with us.
Right. Well, then he also learns that our contact in the city was Chandler, Odysseus, right? Amadeus.
I'm a demon. I'm a demon. Chandler. Amadeus Chandler.
Yeah, Chandler.
Amadeus.
Who happened to be a bell guard.
A bell guard, yes.
Who was basically one of the most trusted people of the Baroness. So
the bell guards all got awarded this title because they were there the night the Baron was assaulted, or the attempt on her life. Baroness, the attempt on her life, and they were part of saving her.
Right.
So everybody that was part of that became this sect.
Yeah, bell guards.
And so I think that helped curve things over too.
Right. Once we said his name, well, I think Forrester said.
How long ago did the assassination take place?
3 years. The night of Penumbra.
The night Piccolo destroyed the moon.
Right. He destroyed the moon. Son of a... That's right. So we will pick up where we left off.
Did we make it back to the orphanage?
You were ready to depart. He was going to prepare he was going to gather up a handful of brigandine and take you back to the orphanage. But we're actually going to cut over to a new face, a new Dufresne agent who has only been recently dispatched to the city. A woman named
Elisa Marius.
Elisa.
Yes. Another Marius.
Another Marius.
A Marius.
No way.
So your arrival...
I was a Marius last game.
Elisa, your arrival in Durindal, this city to the west of where you had served, you've been a member of the Dufresne, about 2 weeks west of there, across the river in the Rovane girdle. Durindal, as you know, it is oftentimes called the Anvil, because you're Rovanian, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so the Rovanians oftentimes call Durindal the Anvil, because it is like this big, almost resembling like a boiling pot on the edge of the horizon when you get toward the mountains where it kind of rests, this sprawling city of some 100,000 people that's grown significantly. Most importantly, the thing that you should know about Durindal is that getting into the city beyond the walls has been a little tough, mostly due to the fact that there are just a number of refugees, these kind of poorish-looking folk who clearly are not from around here. They speak in a strange drawl. They're clearly a drawl to the way they talk. And the soldiers of the city, who you know as Brigandine, have been taking roles, kind of like, imagine like Ellis Island. Mm-hmm. They're kind of taking families and other people in from the war in the north. And eventually you show your papers, you explain who you are, Brigandine pays you no mind, and you are within the city. More importantly, you are within a place simply called Basaya Square. Basaya Square seems to be a place of commerce. Mm-hmm. From what you know, Basaya Square runs both a day market and night market. But by the time you get here in the early noon hours, the merchant stalls are actually still being set up. Okay. In fact, there's anything that was of permanence seems to have been removed and then brought back today. You knew that last night was Penumbra, this kind of auspicious time when nobody in their right mind would be outside because the end of the world is coming and et cetera, et cetera. Right. But it seems that the people of Durindal are clearly superstitious or fearful of the gods to some degree. And Basaya Square, despite the its notoriety, kind of extends beyond the city. You would anticipate that it would be very busy today, but it is not. It is not. It is late October. The summer has turned to autumn, and now autumn is turning slowly toward winter. The days have begun getting colder and colder and colder.
Okay.
So, entering the city as you do, and here in Messiah Square, you know that you are looking for other Dufresne agents.
Right.
But you're not sure where to find them yet.
Right. So, a 17, 18-year-old woman walks through the square. She's got a walking cane that she appears to not actually be leaning on in any way, shape, or form, but obviously keeps close to her. She walks across, looking at all the merchants, and she looks to see if there's any signs that happen to mention particular buildings or shops that might be around the area.
Well, in fact, there is. You see that there are a number of kind of along the corners. The first thing that you see that immediately draws your attention is this kind of spotted beagle tied to the foot of a brass pole that's lined with red and white. And it says Dr. Drake's above it. There's old bloodied linen sitting outside. Your eyes turn away from that as there are refugees who are lined up outside seeking to have their ailments cured by the local doctor or barber surgeon. Okay. Your eyes also turn not far from here. You've passed by a place called the Cloakroom, where you already have your orders and you know what is to happen there. Yeah. Overwatching all of the Messiah Square, however, is this squat sandstone tower. It is these kind of tall crenellations on top. From here, you can see the black flag branding hoisted over it, well, flying from the flagpost. Leaves have gathered between the broken cobblestone. There are certainly other places around here, but those are the three most notable places here in Messiah Square.
She definitely gives a wide berth to the surgeons. It doesn't seem like the kind of place that she would ever be caught dead. Well, possibly just dead, but that'd be about the only kind of time. So she looks around for a moment, and seeing that there's not much activity going on and nobody of import that she can see to talk to, she heads into the cloakroom.
Okay. There is this cut to everyone else, including you, Elisa. Elisa. There is this awful stench throughout the city. Like, not just the smell of, like, the city, but something that seems to be in the air today. Yet there are no clouds in the sky. This air smells of this horrid, like, rotten egg stench smell. Now, granted, all of you have seen these dung collectors, these gong farmers, as they're called, going this way and that, kind of, as they essentially are charged with emptying chamber pots of the night soils and taking them outside the city. Maybe that's a part of it. But even then, the smell is overpowering. Like, it is incredibly, incredibly intense. And it started late last night and kind of began to culminate once the sun rose. Now, the three of you being Terwin Forrester, Banneker Steeples, and Corporal Claviger, and the others, of course, who are not here, you are really, really tired. Keep thinking about it. You've been up all night at this point. Right. You're rubbing the sleep from your eyes. We need to see if you can, you're going to, against sleep deprivation. You were very, very, very tired. Very, very, very worn out. And gosh, it's just, not a good night. So, obviously, some of you are... Let's do a quick health check around the table. So, Terwin Forrester, where are you at?
Grievously wounded.
That's right. You have an injury too, right?
Yeah, I got a detached ear.
What about Banneker Steeples?
Unharmed, imperiled.
Okay. And then
I didn't.
Elisa, you're obviously unharmed and...
Annoyed by stench. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I am
Harper.
lightly wounded and unhindered.
Okay. So it's been a long night. So for Terwin and Harper and Banneker, you will suffer 10 mental peril. Sorry, physical peril. My apologies. Or no, it's mental. I'm sorry. Mental peril.
Mental.
Yep. You're kind of seeing things at the corner of your eyes. You're really tired. The sun's really bright. It's a cold morning. It just doesn't feel any good. And you all have returned back to Messiah Square about midday with Amadeus. The children have been returned.
Good.
Where are they going? Was that ever decided? It was a question
Brigandine will make that decision.
Okay. All right.
That's right. By the time you return back to the watchtower, you see, just outside of it as you're approaching, with the children who are now kind of awake and groggy in the back of like a wagon, Brigandine's wagon, just outside you can see that there is a mob gathered, about 20 people. And they are pelting the side of the watchtower, screaming, "Child killer, bring it to justice!" You can see that there's already this big kind of sprawling child killer on a nearby wall. It's been painted on like a retaining wall near the watchtower. The soldiers are nervous as they are kind of along the edge of the crenellations. They kind of all stop and pause, and they're screaming and jeering at Brigandine as the children are brought in, and you can see men and women weeping at the return of these poor orphans. You can see a man who has many creases in his clothing, who is clearly someone of importance. You know who he is, but he's amid the mob as well. More so illustrating this not just like common folk, but it's also others who are kind of taking immediate notice. Word must have spread very quickly about what happened in the past 6 or 7 hours. I don't know about you, gentlemen, Amadeus says. I need some shut-eye.
All right.
I do too,
But boss, you were buying the drinks.
I will. But
Tomorrow then. Tomorrow. Or when we wake up.
I reckon you got something you need to take care of.
yeah, as I take my ear out of my pocket, I
Yeah.
think I should get this taken care of. I think it's a little bit more important than drinks.
Well, you might actually fancy yourself a drink or two before that happens, but yeah.
Piss
Gonna
off,
need to be
blue
looked
blood.
at.
You know, I wasn't the one who got in the way of a bloody gun.
Yeah,
Multiple times.
I was in your way of that bloody gun.
Yeah, I thank you. But who saved the children?
Yes, from a fire that mysteriously...
Harper looks at Vandiger like, "Are you serious? You almost killed them all."
Hey.
That's the look he gives you.
You know,
Well, those slavers, they like to start fires and...
I know what I needs to do. I needs to go to that place as I point to the place with the barber shop.
Dr. Drake's?
And,
Dr. Drake
and,
Navarro.
and hopefully I can get this taken care of.
Yeah.
Because if I don't get this taken care of soon,
All right.
the tincture will wear off.
All right.
And you'll be deaf again?
And as much as I'd hate to admit it, I'd miss hearing your voices. But not for reasons you're thinking. So, who's coming with me?
Well, I'd like to find an animal mender.
So-
Matthew.
I'm fine. Amadeus, where are you going to sleep? You said there was a safe house for us?
Well, I wouldn't call it a safe house, but the cloakroom is where I oftentimes find myself. He's rubbing the sleep from his eyes.
I think I should accompany our contact to make sure he's okay in these terrible city streets.
I tend to agree. This is drinks in the cloakroom.
And plenty of drinks, place to kick up your feet, everything else.
I'll hand you 2 shilling and I'll be like, get it started for us, eh?
All right, boss.
I said I was buying.
So, at this point, Taryn Forrester limps away toward Dr. Drake's, whereas you're going as well? Mm-hmm. Okay. With Taryn? Mm-hmm. Okay. Some point or another, at the cloakroom, as you're kind of there, kind of waiting, you still have a few days until you're supposed to meet with your VIP to use Dufresne code. But in walks a face that looks familiar, although you do not know his name. He's clearly one of the agents that has been sent to the city. He's one of Lieutenant Forrester's men. What does Alistair? Sorry, my apologies. What does Banneker Steeples look like?
Well, I have a split face. I don't know what exactly. I think is that like a cleft face?
Yeah, you got like a cut across your face.
Well,
you like lost your nose.
Yeah. It means I thought it was like a
cleft palate.
Cleft palate
yeah.
style.
Of course, yes. Sorry.
Okay. Other than that, he's Aridane, extremely tall. I have dark brown hair, jet black hair, dark brown eyes. I'm an aristocrat, and I hold myself to that standard.
He appears. You can see that.
I believe I'm blessed.
As he walks in, you can see that there is silt in his hair. He has he looks a little bit wet and ragged. The elbows of his clothing are dark and muddy.
Oh yeah.
He comes in. He shakes a boot loose of sand as he puts it back on his foot, and you see across the way a familiar face, and you could feel kind of like your heart almost drop in your stomach. So Elisa, or Agent Elisa, or Agent Marius, as you may know her, is not only notable in the sense that she is the daughter of Cole Marius, the right-hand man of the king, but also the fact that she functions as QA for the Dufresne agency. She's essentially a watcher of sort.
Who watches the Watchmen?
Yeah, and you were not
human resources.
and you were not expecting her to be here. The lieutenant never told you about that, and you'd be surprised the lieutenant even knew about that.
So she's a very small, pretty short. Like I would say she's on the shorter side of standard person. She's got kind of tan skin, gray eyes, brownish hair. And she sits in the corner and looks up, and when she sees your face, she just looks back down and starts writing in a notebook.
What? Amadeus, what's she doing here? Wait, you don't know anything?
Who? He says.
I forget. That's another Dufresne agent over there.
You realize that
I might want to excuse myself.
he nods. You realize that this man, who you know as Banneker Steeples, is accompanied by a very nondescript-looking person. He'd easily be lost in the crowd. He's got a very plain face, very brown hair, brown eyes.
Hair-colored hair and eye-colored eyes.
Yeah. He looks so nondescript, he's almost conspicuously nondescript.
Okay.
Which immediately kind of, your kind of intuition kind of like is piqued by that.
Mm-hmm.
He disappears amid the crowd, and Banneker begins to approach her table.
Write a few more notes.
And then above board, for the camera, I'm throwing it up. For the non-camera people, I'm throwing it up. What would we say to each other? Is it agent, master? Is it
agent would be fine. Yeah.
But would I think of her as a superior, like the lieutenant? I mean, I jokingly call him boss because nobody else. He doesn't ask anybody else to salute him and call him anything. So
she is
somebody needs to bring
she
it
is
up.
adjacent, I guess you could say, to.
So she's a peer.
The lieutenant.
Oh, so she is
kind of, but she's not a lieutenant herself.
So what would be the standard?
Internal affairs. Imagine that. That's what she's internal affairs.
But no, how would I say her name? I mean, would I use an agent? Would it be agent? Yeah. Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Agent Marius would be the appropriate thing. First name would be if you were familiar with her.
Right, which we're not, right?
Mm-hmm. Not
really. Agent Marius, how are you? I thought we were the only agents in the city.
Banneker, right?
Yes.
She
Agent
starts writing again.
Steeples, but Banneker, yes.
Well, I heard that you might need some assistance here dealing with the baronet. Was I told incorrectly?
You're gonna have to ask the lieutenant about that.
Oh.
The boss man handles all those interactions. I'm just.
Oh, and where would he happen to be?
We got into a situation last night.
He looked you up and down.
And he's at the barber surgeon's being mended.
Ah, interesting. She writes another note.
There's an odd kind of tension in the air.
So, I don't mean to be obtuse, but not slept, not had a meal, nor a drink.
And things happened yesterday, it appears.
They
last night.
Certainly did. And I don't feel comfortable talking without the lieutenant here.
We'll have plenty of time to talk.
Ah, well, good. Then let's have a drink and not talk.
That sounds fine right now.
Excellent. This is more my speed.
So let's assume for a shilling, you'll easily have enough for food and room and board, essentially. For
She
all of
waves you off and puts down a shilling herself.
I'm just making
So
You don't even gotta rob the Dufresne, they just give you money.
some time will pass, and your detached ear will take a total of 6, 7, so 8, 14, 17 days to recuperate.
Hey, at least it was successful.
17 days.
Yeah, I'm just happy it's successful.
And you
Yeah,
go
that's
you
fine.
go up one step on the damage condition track.
Yay! That's what's...
And I was lightly wounded, so automatic success, right? Forgiven?
That's right. So, in order to have all this done, of course,
It's gonna cost me.
cost you a little bit of money. You know, these are general services. So, a barber surgeon for you, one of Dr. Drake's barber surgeons in training, will cost you 3 shilling.
Okay. And then I'll ask about an animal mender for Matthew.
Yeah. So it will be 1 shilling for the horse.
Okay. Now, does he have the...
He's a bone bruise, so he will suffer from the bone
bone bruise?
It's treated. It doesn't have it's been treated, so he's fine.
Okay.
Yep.
So it doesn't have a lasting effect?
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
Okay.
So as for your visit, though, your doctor's visit, physician's visit, it's 60 brass pennies.
Sweet.
Sorry, 9 shilling. My apologies.
9 shilling.
Okay.
Well, I was like, man, you're getting
I'm
I'm about to say,
cheap.
dang, run away.
9 shilling.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of move things along to everyone is well rested and night has fallen.
Okay.
You'll tend to some catch up on your side. Maybe you'll just kind of hang out here in the cloakroom. It seems to be comfortable.
Did we actually get paid? Because I don't know if since we didn't.
Yeah, he
do a
gave
good
us
job.
one up front.
Yeah,
I know you gave us one up front.
you've not been paid yet now.
No, I wouldn't let that go.
So
She would be listening for rumors and things that might be talked about what might have happened yesterday.
certainly, just kind of listening in. And
Oh, man.
do you want to interact with the locals who come in and out?
Occasional, it's going to be like, how was the weather?
Okay.
Just pleasantries. She doesn't... They're not worth talking to.
Okay. I love it. So the first thing you do notice, Elisa,
He is a Marius.
Yeah. The first thing you do notice, Elisa, is that the people in the cloakroom are of a middle class stock. There aren't really any low-born people trafficking out here. Most people who come in and out deal strictly in shilling. You can always tell what social stratum somebody is of, not only from the way they speak and carry themselves, but the coins they pay in. People who are low-born pay in brass pennies. People who are burghers pay in shilling. People who are the aristocracy pay in gold crowns. And nobody here is paid in gold crowns. Nobody's paid in brass pennies. So it's very easy to suss out here what social class people are. That's just the way they talk and carry themselves and the clothing they wear and such. But I'm going to have you go ahead and make it. Are you order or chaos aligned? Meaning, how many ranks do you have?
I am equal. I am
Equal.
balanced.
Okay. You will need to make a routine rumor test.
Rumor?
Do you have a skill rank in eavesdrop?
You do.
Go ahead and add plus 10% to your chances to succeed.
Do you want number, or do you want me to just tell
Just
you if I
success,
succeed?
failure, critical success, critical
Succeed.
failure. Okay, cool. So the first thing that you kind of hear, kind of hobnobbing with the locals, and was kind of leading them to a certain direction that you want, leading the horse to the trough, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is one thing a Dufresne agent is taught, particularly one of your stature, being that, by the way, Elisa is a provocateur.
Ah.
She's literally a spy. Another Marius.
Another Marius. There's no question. She's a Marius.
I thought it really felt.
Do the name proud.
There is clearly a sense of dread even after what happened last night. People know that the Baroness had ordered all the lamps to be lit in the city, but it did little to abate the fears and superstitions of the Durindalese. Durindalese would be a term to be used among anybody who lives in here in the city.
Okay.
The natives, at least, if you will. But there seems to be kind of a biting fear regardless. And people are pretty irked at the smell. Some of them blame the Night Soil Collective, is who they call this group. It must be the Night Soil Collective collecting all this shit from the night before, one man says. Another one corrects him and says, the appropriate term is dung. And another one says, no, it's called Night Soil. They're the Night Soil Collective. That's what they're called. So people are kind of blaming the Night Soil Collective for the stench throughout the city. But the stench is overpowering. So, of course, people are led to believe, oh, no, it's something far more sinister. Of course, right? People are wary and fearful of nightfall tonight. They fear that the Leviathan's Eye, a star in the constellation that overlooks Durindal, is casting its baleful eye over the city. People are fearful that another attempt of the Baroness's life may happen. Well, if it didn't happen last night, it'll happen tonight. There's in general a tension, and you can tell that, judging by the way people talk, particularly in the cloakroom, as they're upstanding good citizens, that there is this affectation that everyone seems to speak. When they speak of the Baroness, they speak with adoration and love.
Okay.
These are some of the things that you uncover during this time. So, the time will pass. Night will fall, and the cloakroom will actually be pretty damn busy. It's packed to the gills. There is pipe smoke that lingers in the air. There's pretty high ceilings, but the heavy suspended wooden chandeliers with burning candles there's just a lot of smoke in here from that. There's a lot of foot traffic in and out. Everybody's having a good time. There's no violence. There's no gruff, raised voices. There's entertainment and laughter to be had. Perhaps they're celebrating for the fact that something terrible did not happen the night before. But it takes a brave person to come out still the night after Penumbra. And most of the people who are out are those who live probably a rougher trade than others. Laborers, stevedores, other folk like that. You are pretty close to the riverside. You're pretty close to the Bastards River where you're at. So you're not surprised to find people of that stature, that state, those workers here. You eventually all collect, and for those, by the way, who rested, you recover to unhindered.
Thank goodness.
And when you all collect together, of course, we'll assume that Banneker has told you, Terwin, and you, Harper, that Internal Affairs is here.
Boss!
Well, that was faster than I thought would happen.
Wait, you thought it would happen?
Well, I mean, it's us, ain't it?
What's that supposed to mean?
Well, we're an extra kind of special. Of course, they're going to send a special agent.
Like, who is it?
Well, Agent Marius, right?
Yeah.
Oh, Marius.
It's Cole's daughter.
Ah.
And Cole he's notorious, right? He still is like...
Cole is the king's spymaster.
Right. I mean, it's
he
warning shots, not words. He is the
family
motto, right?
Yeah, that's right. He is the spymaster to the king. He is one of the most influential people in all of Aglador, save for the king himself.
It's the spymaster's daughter.
Well,
I didn't say anything to her, boss. I didn't.
Well,
she asked what was going on. I told her you were at the animal menders and we'd gotten into a situation, I think is what I actually said. And then she gave me a piercing look and I said, but I don't talk without your permission. And she took that as okay, even though, I talk all the time.
Right. So you did tell her something.
That you got hurt, yeah.
Yeah. I'm not saying what you did was wrong, but you said
what else was I going to tell her? I don't know where I don't know where my lieutenant's at.
No,
that would have came off worse.
No, you could have told him more if you felt inclined, but I appreciate you leaving it to me.
No.
No, I trust you.
You and the high-ups stay with.
Right.
I trust you. If I didn't, I'd never let you go. So, on your own.
All right, boss.
You don't have to worry about that.
Oh, and she paid for my meal, so I'll get you guys this night.
Unforgivable.
So I'll buy you guys this, and she gave me the 2 shillings.
Well, do we still got a job to do for Amadeus?
We do. Unless he doesn't consider that job done.
What time is it?
It's evening, nightfall.
Okay, of the same day. Or
This is a follow. Remember, you came here the night before.
In the morning.
It's basically the morning after Penumbra. You got your ear fixed, and now it's the evening because we slept a few hours.
That's right.
okay, so he's listening to you guys as you're talking, and then after a while, he just starts nodding a whole lot. And as you keep talking, he
He can't hear us.
Well,
I don't think this is going to work. How's he going to explain to... I don't know. You got me.
Everything sounds kind of tinny.
Yeah, and he kind of trails off for a moment as he does that, and it's like the information finally catches up with him, and he's like, oh, and he digs around in his pack and he takes out another tincture.
Oh, yeah. Another tincture, you say, to everyone.
Yeah, so that's
All
one
right.
corruption, right?
Yeah, it's 1 corruption. You can ignore the effects of your injury for 24 hours.
I have yet to gain an order rank.
That's right. Well, win in Durandal. So at some point or another, Elisa, you can see them kind of walking through the room, trying to be, well, not trying to be inconspicuous. I mean, how can you be inconspicuous? They're covered in blood. Their clothes have not yet been washed. They, obviously, you can see that Lieutenant Terwin Forrester, Adam's character, has been bandaged up. What does Terwin look like?
Terwin is a Rovanian man who is 5'7", frail, with red hair and a pronounced brow. He well, that's about all. I mean, he's wearing some just pretty disheveled clothing. Even if it didn't have blood on it, it'd be pretty disheveled as well.
Yeah,
like he's had it for many, many years. And what's interesting is it's actually military attire. And so, Harper?
So Harper is probably the tallest, skinniest guy you've seen. He's 6'1", 163 pounds, and has a very frail body type. He's got, let's see here. He's got ginger hair and dark brown eyes. So he kind of matches a little bit, except a taller version of the lieutenant here. And he's wearing mostly riding leathers, because if you knew anything about Harper, it's that he's a rider, essentially. It's Dragoon.
I forgot, I am a mountain among men.
That's right, you're very tall.
Very tall, very huge.
Right, because how tall are you?
It says 6'2",
Right,
253
so
pounds.
you're a hair taller than me.
So
you're way bigger.
So to describe
I'm
Banneker versus these other two, the Aridane people from the west, beyond the river, are very haughty looking people. They almost kind of hawkish in their features. Aquilinian noses, pale skin, dark hair and dark eyes is considered to be blessed among them. Whereas the Ravanians are more like yourselves, of the stereotype at least. They're far more kind of less parochial and more pragmatists. They're kind of eked it out here in the Rovane Girl for years, and they tend to age very quickly, to have deep crow's feet, and to ponder for long periods of time, pull the wool, as they say. But they have learned to survive in a land that is at one time inhospitable, but now Durindal is almost kind of the representation of the hardiness and willfulness of the Rovanian people. Durindal is kind of seen as a shining beacon in all of the girdle. And it is between them you can see the difference between the Eridane to the west and the Rovanian here near Durindal. You all settle up at a table together. There's two others with them, but since neither Nick or Walter are here, we'll assume that they're kind of in the background.
That's fine.
For now.
He approaches you and immediately extends his hand and says, Agent Marius.
Lieutenant.
Lieutenant Forster at your service.
So I've heard. So, with curiosity, what happened?
When?
She just looks you up and down for a moment.
Like he
Then looks at...
It's like a Dragon Age.
The other
Covered in
scene.
blood. In the middle of a cutscene.
like he is serious when he says when. He like doesn't seem to
By the state of this, I'd assume within the last 24 hours.
You want a whole recap?
I suppose that would be best.
Well, it was a cold morning, and I just arrived here at the city, and you sure you want to know? Because I was dreadfully laden down, and I really needed to use the water closet, if you know what I mean.
Boss, I think we can go maybe to the milestones.
I do believe that you were assuming I might be here for something different than I am. I'm not entirely sure, but you seem very suspicious of my attendance.
Well, I mean, it's not often that, someone of your station gets sent to someone of our station.
It's not often we contact the Baroness.
Right, I mean, I think he's saying, what did we fuck up on?
I don't know. You won't tell me
I start
what
counting
happened
on my
yet, sir.
fingers.
You see, no.
I mean, you're only here usually because right, boss?
Well, either that or we're important. And we're not that important, so yeah. But, anyways.
Seems my name betrays me that I might be more important than you think.
It wasn't so much suspicion as it was trying to make light of it and give you a laugh, but I see you're not here for laughs, so I'll just tell you what happened.
Well, I might be, but really piss humor doesn't do it for me. So sorry.
I take it you're not the type to read the adventurous exploits of Lyndon Genevieve the Younger,
No.
man of the people.
Can't say I'm a subscriber, no.
Damn, I've been trying to find somebody. Anyways.
Well, that's just
Apologies.
You,
Yeah.
Nobody else reading that. They've been read too.
I want to know.
Maybe if there was a wider audience, but
Yeah.
at this point I can't say that, no.
Alright, so let's get here. And man Amadeus, we actually need to see him because he still owes us money. But,
The man that was with you.
Yeah, that's our contact.
I don't believe I've seen him again. Not yet.
He blends well.
He does.
Oddly so.
so
Nice cotton.
So-
real well.
he says that the Baroness...
500 thread count. 500 thread count doubling.
Egyptian cotton!
Just that Rovanian cotton, I'll tell you what.
This man, he tells us that the Baroness finds it really important that for Penumbra, that everyone deserves of having light. Like even the poor district, as I point in the direction of
Slum Road.
Slum Road, yeah.
Takes note of where you pointed.
And so we were lighting these lamps that gas lit. Is that what he called it? Like they got gas running through the city below it.
Is that the smell?
I don't know what it smells like, honestly.
It smells like rotten eggs, boss. I don't know how you can miss it. The whole goddamn city.
Yeah, I noticed the smell, but
Oh.
I didn't know what the gas smelled like.
Is that the smell?
I don't know
It is
either.
not now.
Okay.
So
I don't know either.
Oh, actually, I can't spell it.
We're supposed to escort him
No.
along the way,
Mm-hmm.
and if we escort him, we each get like 5 gold
5 each.
each.
Well, the Baroness apparently takes this quite seriously.
Well, yeah, he did try and offer us less, but
3. You rigged him up.
Whoa. You actually manage that.
He is a
From
forester.
3 to 5, though. That's impressive.
It is a kingly sum.
It is
so
a
to speak.
kingly sum.
yeah.
That is impressive. I'm not saying anything against your character. I'm saying impressive.
Hey, that's why he's the lieutenant.
Indeed.
Well, I thought I was lieutenant because of my family name, but anyways, we were lighting these lamps, and we come to this bridge. This little wooden bridge that they decide to put all these locks on. to declare their love for one another, they lock in their love. And this bridge, if they keep doing it, I'm convinced it's going to come down. Anyway.
Yes, wait.
Yeah. See, she gets it.
I got it too, boss. We already talked about this. The only one who doesn't understand is him.
I'm just saying, it held me and Matthew for quite some time, so it's got to be built sturdy.
Yeah.
Did you stand on it for years?
Well, no, but
so-
All right,
I mean,
then.
you know what a storm horse looks like,
Yes.
Anyways, ladders are nice.
right?
I digress. So,
I mean, if we must talk about engineering, let's go for it.
Let's have a proper conversation about engineering. Are you familiar with the Foucault principle?
speaking of proper conversation, do we have food and everything?
Yeah, we'll assume that
Yeah.
food and drink has been at least brought to you.
All right. So, there's this couple. They're standing on the bridge, and they're holding hands and whatnot. And then Alistair and I see this fellow climbing up out of the creek, stream, river, whatever it
Bastard
is.
river.
Yeah, the river. And I just think it's some poor fool who happened to live under the river, really up on hard times. And Alistair sees a knife in his hand, so we put a stop to a bit of a domestic dispute.
Between the two on the bridge.
Well,
And
the
Well-
third one, this mutant, he
All right.
He was rather malformed,
What?
Creature.
right?
I mean, honestly, this
And this is all yesterday.
it gets
Last
weirder.
night.
It was penumbra.
Once the
Well, I understand.
once the sun
but
went
that's
down, the
just a
weirdos
day.
came out.
Yeah, so he was saying it's my sister or it's my niece or something like that, and I'm not going to
There's
let
a
you.
very distinct difference.
Well, see, it's actually you're right, but it doesn't matter because he was angry about her and being in love with someone else. So it's the
that's
same in my eyes.
Awkward.
Yes.
All right.
So
Notes.
we put, I basically say, well, you leave him alone. I'm going to run you through something like that, to make him run off, and he does. So we put that dispute to rest, and then we come across an orphanage to refill on our supplies because we had to refill. The cart couldn't hold everything for all 50 lamps, or 51 in this case. But
Go ahead and skip that story.
So we get there and we see these priests and they're taking these children out in carts. And
There's a penumbra thing here.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not from around here.
Same.
I'm from the south of Kurth. So
That place cursed,
Kurth is cursed. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd
say.
All right. So children in carts.
Yeah, so we're like, hey, what you doing with these kids? And they're like, they's dead. And we're like, why is they dead? And then he says that the woman who runs the place said that a spirit came through the walls and ate them or something like that.
Spirits.
Ate their souls.
Ate their souls. Yeah. And so he also says that the lady was taking the medicating herself a little bit too much. And so I'm like, okay, well, let's see these kids. Let's see what if she did anything really bad to them.
Yeah.
And what they do? They show me the kids' knees.
Nice.
Yeah, and then I started noticing these priests walking around wearing gambesons. Now, what bloody priest is going to walk around wearing gambesons?
Right, so then they turn out to be...
Well, I want to go ahead and remove the blanket all the way, and Alistair, he notices that one of them's still breathing. And so the head priest in charge is like, oh, help the kid. Give him a laudanum. And so I give him a laudanum. Nothing happens. And that's another thing that's really suspicious. I mean, because, most priests know what laudanum is for, and, they know how to at least mend animals. So we basically find out he's telling lies, and they try and run off with the kids. So I send Matthew out after the ones that are already off, and the two that were behind decided to put up a fight. We dispatched them rather quickly, and got some information out of the one that was left, and pretty much turned out that he was causing us a lot of trouble, so we had to kill him too. And
as you do.
Then
They were slavers.
Yeah.
I assumed.
So more trouble than his
You
life.
let a meat packers.
More trouble than his life was worth, and so then we went after the ship.
The ship.
Yeah, because they was taking him off to
To a ship.
a jetty or some sort. Yeah.
Where was the ship going? Do you know?
Nope.
We didn't get to answer that question.
No, he was being really obstinate. So
I think that was called firing pistols. But
yeah, really obstinate.
Pistols are pretty obstinate.
yeah, I guess you can agree
Yeah.
with that. But
I wish they would have used little warning shots.
Harper?
They did not.
Warning shots.
Harper, right here, he takes his horse and he just jumps on the boat
Alright.
because they were sailing off, and he's able to get the boat to get off course enough, and the rest of us jump aboard, and they take to violence, and somehow a fire breaks out, and
A fire?
yeah, it's really
Right.
strange.
You really don't like fire on boats. It's a really bad deal.
No, that's why. Why was there fire near the boat?
Don't know,
I don't
but
now let's take a drink.
Bender's like looking away.
Is there something I could roll to see if I believe them?
It's clear that the story's hazy. I mean, you need not roll any dice to but the story's a little fuzzy.
Well,
but
strange that combustion should happen on a ship, but alright.
Alright.
well,
I was on a horse, so I was
We'll
a
take
bit
a quick
busy.
pause for a moment. One thing to note that you would know, Eliza, about Lieutenant Forrester is he has a tendency to be assigned the worst of the worst. Like, they're literally like the D squad. Like, they're not even bench warmers. They're just like, well, we dredged up the dungeon, and here's what we know. The way it kind of works is like certain people are assigned to certain people, and these Lieutenant Forrester and his cadre, if you will, are kind of the worst. They're kind of like, so you've seen the movie Police Academy?
we are supposed
You're Mahoney, is what we're saying.
Who does the sound effects?
So yes, it's clear that like some of the story is fuzzy. Yeah, without a doubt.
Strange that combustion should happen on a vehicle on the sea. But
Well,
come on.
it was probably me.
I was surrounded by the lot of them, and I was a bit too busy, not dying and all.
As I can tell.
And we dispatched most of them. But bullets really hurt, and so
I would guess, yes.
that's how I earned this. as he points to his ear, and you can see like a line of stitches like attaching it to his head.
Oh.
Got lucky. I did.
It's still there, so I suppose so.
You see, there's this missing. He's like an action line on the side of his head from his forehead all the way back to where his ear was like really split off the top, like where he got shot in the side of the head.
Well, you're alive and obviously not drowned, so I assume you got off the boat that was on fire.
Yeah, so did the ringleader.
So he's still at large.
He is, and then
A man named Droost?
Druce, yeah.
Druce.
Am I mispronouncing that? I feel like I'm mispronouncing
No, it's Druce.
All right.
The Northman that's with
We're
us.
unpicked.
Yeah.
Folk.
The Danishman that's with us, he told us what he was. He was picked.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, most of the
Oh, you only meet Alistair.
most of
At
the
some point.
Kind.
most of them
That one.
most of them slavers was Danish, wasn't it?
Danish, yeah.
They were something.
They were all Alistairs.
They were slavers, that's what they were.
Interesting.
And
And they would go after this. Wait, what happened to the children?
they was on the boat.
We saved them.
Did
We
they?
saved them, yeah.
I was going to say, did they make it off?
We did one thing right. For sure, we saved the children. Where
I
are the
am
children
glad
now?
that there was one thing done right.
And that's what
And
this
we didn't crash into the wrong place.
We didn't.
Were
with the fire ship.
Right.
3 things I did right.
Right.
Started a
See?
fire.
Well, that
Save
that's
the
questionable.
children.
So
Save
you-
the children. I'm just going to
so you did
save the
start-
children.
Wait, you started
And
it.
crash the boat properly.
Terror.
Put that in your book.
I'm like,
there are notes. Continue.
all right,
Put
yeah.
that in your book
Again,
and smoke it.
all 3 of those were mine.
You know,
Yeah,
that's lovely.
Terwin feigns surprise as he says, "Wait, you started it."
Shocking.
Yeah.
Incredibly shocking.
I had a reason. It didn't make any sense, though, after I saw the children were, there.
Wait. So there was children on the boat when you set it on fire?
I didn't know that.
To be fair,
Where?
they were inside the crates, so we didn't know they were there.
But you knew that they were shipping children and you set the boat on fire knowing that, all right.
I did say I did 2 things right.
I think you said 3, actually, previously.
Well,
This number keeps changing.
So
3.
All right.
we stopped the efforts of
Yes.
a child smuggling ring,
That is good to know.
and there's some very bad people that won't be able to do bad things anymore.
So is that where this leads us at this point? Is that the end of this day of the conundrum?
Well, we met with Brigandine and had a small discussion with them, but it was basically
What was the discussion with
Well, it
them?
was basically how are you? Oh, that's very nice. Very well. You're the god of the city. Okay, we're the king's men. Great.
How did that go?
Exactly like that.
Well,
Well, actually. Drinks,
Right.
pipe weed,
Surprisingly well.
was this before or after the ship burning?
That'd be after.
Ship didn't burn
That's-
all the way.
Right, they put it out. It was fine.
The
I feel like it could be recovered.
partial ship burning.
It's probably
My
unusual,
mistake.
Well, I mean, it definitely needs to be dry
Like
docked.
half ship burning
but remember,
So
it was a slaver ship that we burned.
if
with children on it.
We
Yes,
burned.
I got that note. Yeah.
so, one
Don't
thing that I do want to say is that my man Alistair, as I point off into one of the corners of the bar,
Dark corner.
he made an exceptional sacrifice of self as he stood next to me and he took many a gunshot himself.
It's good to know.
He's right here, that one is, even though he'd never want to be called it. So don't call him an hero. But he is one.
Granted.
Yeah.
That would be in quotations. So, at this point, it leaves you with needing to talk to Amadeus again.
Huh?
Yeah? So at this point, you need to talk to Amadeus again, yes?
Oh, sorry, I'm having a... But yeah.
Amadeus! Yes?
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh.
we need to speak with him about
Thank you.
that payment.
And almost like as if he was being summoned from the thin air, or if you perhaps rubbed the pewter jack you're drinking, whatever you're drinking in, he appears in the middle. Well, my word. Nightfall already, and I see you all already acquainted.
Well, man's gotta eat.
Madam, he says.
She rises from the table.
He straightens his cravat. I don't think we've had the pleasure.
She smooths out her creases for him.
Amadeus Chandler at your service. He takes a short bow.
Agent Marius. She holds out her hand.
I'll shake your hand. A pleasure.
Thank
So
you.
you use the Dufresne too, huh?
Yes.
All
Yes,
right
I
then.
am. And I've heard your name. So that's nice
Oh,
to know.
me?
Yes.
Little old me? I'm just a lamplighter, madam.
Still. I've heard of you. And it's nice to finally put a face to it.
I hope they all said good things about me.
Of course, of course.
Nothing but good.
There's one thing you can say about Amadeus Chandler is that he's no cheat. Speaking of which, I got your coin. He puts down a silk purse, and you can see that it is kind of embroidered with the symbol of the Baroness upon it, the symbol of Durendal. And he proceeds to pull coins out and give them to you, the remainder of the cash.
Okay.
So he'll pay you 3 and the others up. He cinches the sack and puts it back into the folds of his clothing.
So what was he gave us one, and then at the end he gave us the rest?
So 3.
It'd be no.
4,
I think we
wouldn't
did it for 5 total.
That's right.
Was it 5 total? Okay.
It's nice to see that generosity is not dead here.
For the Baroness was a loving woman.
I've heard.
And Amadeus, you're not just a lamplighter, are you?
Well, I mean, I am, but that's I was before, I suppose. All this.
Yeah. Well, we mentioned your name to Brigandine that we were helping you light lamps.
And we just basically said you were a lamplighter, and
A bell going.
They said you were anything but.
Yeah, I am. He says, kind of almost admitting, almost kind of flatly. Yeah.
Well, you seem like a good feller to me. Do we still need to finish up the rest of them lights?
Well, I think that
It's
business is done,
daytime.
my friend.
All right.
He says
well,
he claps his hand on your shoulder.
I just want to
Right.
make sure that, job's done.
I hope she wasn't too disappointed in why.
The Baroness?
Yes.
Oh, goodness, no. I don't have her here.
I hope whoever handed you the money wasn't too disappointed as to why.
Business was done.
And
I think them kids were worth it.
I think so, too.
I just think so.
children are always worth it.
They took that woman, Mother Helena, and they drug her in chains all the way back to the Brigandine Tower. I imagine she will come to a very swift judgment.
Well,
You know,
I don't know what she was taking, but she was taking something.
if possible, I wouldn't mind having a word with her. And it may be better if someone else would have a word with her, but, you know, one of us. Because I was thinking when I couldn't sleep because of the pain in the ear, that, you know, they was talking about how she was spouting madness. And there's many a thing that can cause madness. One is, you know, not sleeping for a long time. But some of the others is if you had too much medication administered to you, or something along those lines. Like maybe she was somehow a pawn in what the slavers was doing.
Well,
So you believe not of her own volition?
Well, you know, not completely of her own volition. I mean, you do have some control over your own destiny, whether or not you get into certain situations. But it may have been, here's the first one's free sort of thing. You know.
You hear the screaming outside. They got him! They got him! And you can see torchlight from outside of the cloakroom. People are kind of coming to the windows and trying to kind of understand what's happening outside.
Ew.
Men, you're welcome to join us if you want. He stands up and he starts to try and make his way outside.
Grabs
Harper
a
was
cane.
going to pull out a vial or something, but it seems like things have changed. So he'll put that file back in his
Tucks her
pocket.
cane under her arm and goes to follow you guys.
You come outside onto this covered porch, and it's nighttime, it's cold, it's chilly, but you can see a collection of about 10 or 11 torches.
Make way.
And you can see that there are this group of really rough-looking stevedores, these dock workers. And they're literally dragging by a rope this beaten, bloodied, bloated, pale body they drudged from the river. And without a doubt, as you're going to break between the people and move them aside, Brigandine's not seen this yet, but you all kind of brush them aside, and as you approach, you can see that the man is covered head to toe in blue tattoos, and that his teeth have been filed sharp, like fangs. Without a doubt, this is Druce. He's been stuck. He's not bleeding anymore.
Lisa's
dead.
sketching the tattoos.
Yeah.
But he's dead?
He's dead.
What? What?
Who is this?
That's Juice.
Gentlemen,
Wait.
One of the fellows kind of looks toward you.
Or the Dufresne agencies who saved those children. Let me see that man.
He nods kind of solemnly, and he moves to the side. We found this bugger hiding in the back of a ship. Looked like he'd half drowned, trying to catch a few Z's. Likely the fucking Picty in the wood were going to take me ship.
Did you kill him?
Took me gaff hook right to the back of his brain box. He grabs his head and pulls it up, and you can see this like pretty vicious looking puncture in the back of his head.
Huh.
What do you have on him?
What do you mean, what do you have on him?
When you got to him, what do you have on him?
Naked as the day that Picty bastard was born.
Thank you.
I'll give him a look over, because I remember that he was like shaved bald, no eyebrows.
Right.
I mean, he shot a couple guns at us, so I think you would try to remember what the guy looks like.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. There's no doubt in your mind this is Druce.
Okay, so there is
he has
no
no
doubt.
hair, no eyebrows, no eyelashes, not a speck of hair on his body. He's completely hairless. Long and limber-looking fellow, pale as a sheet. He's been probably, look like he drowned maybe he's drained of blood. When you look at his shoulders, you can see that there's kind of vicious-looking holes from one side of his shoulders to the other.
So, did you do that to his shoulders?
I didn't do nothing. I found him like this. The others kind of nod in agreement.
Where did you find him?
In the back of the ship. I told you I put my gaff hook in the back of his head.
So he crawled on your ship in this condition.
Crawl on the ship, probably trying to get some sleep before he's going to leave the city. Take me boat. Put me hook in the back of his head.
Huh. Roundabout, where's your boat at?
Bastard River?
Right, but whereabouts? Because last we saw him, he was by that tavern with the stilts.
I ain't where my dinghy is, he says.
Alright, so upriver or downriver?
Well, that way, he says, kind of pointing in the opposite direction of this Aya Square.
Downriver.
which makes sense.
Alright.
When? Just now.
Tonight?
Well, you got him, you drug him here, right?
Well,
Taking him to Brigandine, we are.
let's walk with you.
Probably got a nice bounty on his head, too.
I'm sure he does, one of the men
Well,
says.
congratulations, you're about to get paid.
Maybe.
What? And you're sure there was nothing else on him? He took something from me.
Hold up. Hold
Nothing
up.
on him.
Wait. You're going to get to take him to Brigandine. Give me just a moment. If you want to stay with them.
Well, seeing as how you did right by those kids, I suppose, he says. He doesn't seem to acknowledge anything about you being a Dufresne agent so much as it is about what reputation you have earned in the city. By the way, you all gain 1 reputation point.
Oh, sweet.
Oh,
I
nice.
assume not myself.
You do as well. It is a shared commodity. We will use the rules for that next session.
So we don't start with one anymore?
No.
Okay, well then I just need to leave the one that I already have.
It's shared, so you don't spend it individually. We'll have a party card
Right.
actually to use because
Right.
we're going to invest party points into growing abilities.
Party point?
Such as being able to teach others your skill attribute and have them use it.
Legit.
Being able to teach others to use your talents.
Wow, that's cool.
What?
That's awesome.
I know a talent I want.
What's that?
Lightning reflex. This is
Oh,
always so good. It's
So-
always so good.
Nonetheless, we'll cover that next session. But for tonight, he will acquiesce, and as you lean down toward the body, we will pause here and
All right.
continue with our next episode. So we'll go ahead and sign off for now.
All right.
See you soon.
See you guys next week.
Next time. Yeah.